So I'm always excited to film these treatments. This is Cherie. She's 56 years old. She's bothered by under her eyes. So we're gonna start with a cheek restoration. I'm gonna follow it up with dermal fillers under the eyes, and I'm gonna show you my technique. We're gonna begin on the right side here with a cheek restoration. I'm using Restylane Defyne. The model has been numbed, topically prepped. Nice and still. Here is a poke. I'm going to the deepest part of the malar. I'm not down to the bone. There is a foramen here right in this section where the nerve bundle comes out with the vessels. And so I do not want to be up in that area. I'm just putting a little bit of support here. So I'm doing the cheek restoration to support underneath the eyes. So when I go under the eyes, that filler, you won't be able to see it. And a tiny bit more right there. Okay, you can see you want to pop that forward. One more little poke. Very good. Half a syringe of this Defyne on each side in the malar. That's a pretty typical amount. And then we'll follow it up with the Classic Restylane. Okay, so now we're gonna go under the eyes. Go ahead and close your eyes. And we're gonna keep this within this retaining ligament along this orbital ridge. Here is a poke. I am below the muscle. I'm going real slow. Quick little aspiration there. Putting a little bit, and you hear that little popping noise. A little bit of support under there. Good, so that was about a 0.1. Now I'm gonna hold some pressure on that. That way if anything's bleeding, I don't want her to have a little bit of a shiner. Put a little bit of a pressure there. So very important in this area that you have to be below the muscle. Here's a poke. If you're above the muscle, you'll clog the lymph system and you'll get puffy. And there we go. Another little 0.1. Tiny little aliquots of the filler. Put a little pressure. Doing great, very good. All right, that's looking great. I'm gonna come a little bit more lateral. Here's a poke. So I've got Cherie positioned straight up against the chair so she can't move. And then I'm able to see everything because she is straight up. I think injecting straight up is better than having a patient lay down where the skin and things will look different. So, all right. That's about a 0.1 in each of those little pokes. Just hold a little pressure. Now what I want to do, I want to check from that Defyne if there's any little holes in the surface. So I feel one, probably can't see it on camera, but I can feel one right here. So I want to make sure that we get that. Here's a poke. Nice, slow, gentle-handed injecting. Because I'm really, when I'm doing these treatments, I'm really close to the bone, and so I don't want to inadvertently get a little too heavy-handed and nick her bone and have her jump. She bled a little bit on that one. Okay, and I'm just gonna check. So still on this upper part of this cheek and feel just a little bit of a hole. So I'm gonna do that, and then this side's gonna be done. Okay, just a tiny bit right there. And one more little poke. And because I'm using this Classic Restylane for the second step, I can come just below the dermis. I don't need to take this deep, and to layer it on top of that Defyne. All right, so this side is done. I'm just gonna hold that just for a second. Half a syringe of Defyne, half a syringe of the Classic Restylane. show you again how I'm determining the depth here. I'm feeling that, feeling how deep the malar loss is, and then I'm also pushing up the skin so I can visually get a good idea of what I'm trying to fill in. So I like to do that before I start. All right, here is, go and close your eyes. Here is a poke. Good. Using a 1/2 inch needle, so I'm not all the way down to the bone, nor do I want to be in this area because I don't want to be lodged in that foramen that's right in this area and hit that nerve or vessels. So little malar restoration here. Feeling for where that hole may still be. And the one right there. All right. A little bit more right there. Okay, now let me hold that and we'll check that. We want this to be a little bit flatter here, then slightly start to round out a little bit, but really it's about tapering into the beautiful cheekbone and not overriding that. So that determines how much restoration I'm doing. All right, so there's still a little hole right there. Still a hole right there. I'll catch that with the Restylane when I go over with that. I'm going to get this hole right here. So we're going to come a little lower. Here's a poke. Good. Filling in that sort of that under part of that malar, that deeper pad that's in there. Now I'm tapering it back into this malar prominence so that's nice and seamless. Okay, so there's the 1/2 syringe of Defyne. Defyne's a little bit, quite a bit thicker than the Classic Restylane I'm going to be using under the eyes. So the thicker the product, you do have to put a little bit deeper and it's going to last a little bit longer, and that's what you want in this area that's more dynamic. Final step is to do the Classic Restylane under this orbital ridge. Go ahead and close your eyes. I am going to come a little bit closer here. Just for safety reasons, I'm going to show you that I do keep 1 finger distance away from this corner here. There's a tear duct, there's the angular artery that comes up the nose. So I keep a finger away. And here is a poke. Good. So now I'm sitting right above this ligament that comes right there. I'm gonna do a little safety check. I'm gonna put in a little, so that with that gets right up there far enough. A little bit right there. I'm going to hold some pressure. Okay. And our goal here is to soften this transition. It's not to completely take it away because anatomically we have this. Here's a poke. Good. Slowly under the muscle. And I can see a vessel right there. I'm going to go underneath that. Put that little 0.1 right here. And this little section I'm doing right now, it's probably the deepest part that she has. So I'm gonna put just a little bit more. Okay, we're gonna come a little further out. Here's a little hole right here. Here is a poke. We're almost done. Another little 0.1. Little lateral, one more poke, here we go. And last but not least, just got a little hole right here that I'd already felt from the Defyne, so we're gonna, right there, we want that support. Here we go, here's a little poke. Just under the skin here. And that'll do it.
Continue to avoid your vitamins and aspirin-containing products.
This is where a couple glasses of water and a couple Tylenols will help. But all in all, it's really pretty easy. You're not going to feel much, but we'll bring you back in 3 weeks.
You did fantastic. Good job.